The first primary school built by the government was Gamelodi Model School in D1, Section M. And when it was opened in 1954, or let's say the beginning of 55, it had to accommodate Mamelodi Secondary School. They shared the premises with Mamelodi Secondary School. And Mamelodi had to move to what was intended to be the hostels for the normal college. So those classrooms, the old Mamelodi High School, were in fact put up as dormitories for the normal college students. But the then Minister of Native Affairs, Dr. H.F. Verwoerd, said no tertiary institution in urban areas. He had to close the normal college, and then it moved to Telfloor. It became the University of the North. Then the primary school started growing. Gamelodi was followed by Umtombo, and then Vulametlo, Moretele, Nsabotloko. They spread like mushrooms. And we had, fortunately, we had a very good, foresighted white man, J.J. Dijaga, who had some foresight. He planned very well for the growth of Mamelodi. And he decided that now, if we are going to have lower primary schools headed by men, they won't do very well. He felt that they should be headed by ladies. And he recruited ladies who had done kindergarten course to come and head the lower primary schools. People like Mrs. Sikati, Mrs. Koza, Mrs. Safara, Mrs. Kapola were the first principals in Mamelodi who ran the lower primary schools. They had done a kindergarten course at St. Thomas in Johannesburg. So they ran the schools very, very well. Later they were divided into higher primary schools. And we had the higher primary schools also growing very, very fast. Then trouble started when we started dividing the schools into ethnic groupings. But we didn't have much trouble with the school board that we had at the time. It catered fairly for all the groups. And we had a capable secretary of the school board who was proficient in English and Afrikaans, the late Saiku Tumela. And he had gathered a lot of experience as secretary at the second office in Pretoria. So the growth of the schools there, we were never short of classrooms. There was planning ahead of what was going to happen. I think that's what I can say about the growth of the primary school.
And the school boards, because in the end you had the Zulu school board and so on.
Now we had one school board in Mamelodi, Vlakfontein School Board, which was headed by a man who had no schooling at all. But he was wise enough to realize his limitations. He went to people who could guide him. And so he ran the school board very, very well because he got good advisors. And we had no friction among the teachers. In other areas, teachers were in hell under the school boards. But in Mamelodi, we didn't experience such harassments because our chairman and his board were guided by educated people who told them how to behave, how to handle education. But time came when they had to divide the schools into ethnic boards. There was not, the biggest school board was the Pedi board, with the majority, then followed by the Zulus. There was no friction between the Zulus and the Pedis. But the Tswanas had some difficulties because many Tswanas were moved to Rangkua from Mamelodi. So they had to fight for survival. That's why we had a lot of friction.